Hello, welcome to this video. Today I will be talking about my character Zircon from my ongoing book series Divisions. In this video I will be drawing and coloring him while talking about his backstory and why he is an important piece in my book. Okay, Zircon's backstory. Something that is very important to note is in my book Divisions there are 4 different divisions, and the one that Zircon was living in for most of his life is the cave division, and in that division he rose in the ranks and went to a very powerful role, which is the role of second in command, or just simply said as second. The thing that I recently added in my book, which I will need to update on the website, is that Zircon was not originally from the cave division. He may seem like it with the way he acts, but surprise, surprise, he's not originally from there. Zircon was born in the desert division, which is similar to where my main character, Scorpion, was born and raised in. In Divisions, it is not mentioned, only when he is having flashbacks in one of my chapters. And oh my gosh, his eyes. The Divisions used to have annual gatherings where the leaders of the divisions would talk about what's going on in their divisions and how the other divisions could help, and just announcements that they felt the need to share. Zircon was, I believe, at the age of 7 when he went to his first gathering, so he was not familiar with any traditions or anything in the desert division, at least. The desert division, they are mentioned to be very barbaric and rough, and so that's why he may naturally have a tougher side. His parents weren't the best people, which caused him to naturally stray away from them and stick with people he was close with in the division. At the gathering he went to, as the leaders were, I'm a little bit rusty on exactly how I wrote this, but the leaders were sharing what was going on, and he kind of strayed away from listening because he's only 7. He was kind of bored, because we all know little kids don't like to stay through things like that. When the leaders were finished discussing, the divisions were getting ready to leave, and he wandered off from his division to kind of see how the other divisions were like, and like how the people in those divisions acted. And when he did that, he strayed to where the cave division was seated, and he was there for a little while, and then the gathering ended formally, and he realized he did not see his division, the desert division. And him being a little kid, he was freaking out until he met this lady in the cave division, which her name is not coming to mind. I told myself I would write a script, and then I realized that I hate sticking to scripts, which is like, I really do not plan my books either, and so I'm kind of thinking. I'll get her name in a bit, but this lady was very kind to him when he ran into her. She was just checking in on him, making sure he was okay. Seeing how kind this lady is, oh my gosh, my hand is very shaky, I'm sorry. But seeing how kind this lady was to him, her name is Beryl. I just got that, Beryl was very welcoming and very kind to him, and he told her that he was from the Desert Division, and they had left without him because they don't really account for their people, which is another reason people may say the Desert Division is very barbaric and they don't really care about anyone really, even people in their own division. And Beryl, being the angel she is, decided to take him in. And she took him back to the cave division, and people accepted him quickly because people in the cave division understand him, and they sympathized with, or empathized, I guess, with Zircon's trouble. And they took him in kindly, and Beryl raised him, and he lived most of his life in the cave division. Now, growing up in the cave division, not everyone was accepting of Zircon. There was one man who was mentioned in Zircon's flashbacks. I believe this was chapter 11, which is titled Executions and Lost Love. So this man, or bully, I guess, this is when Zircon was older, maybe, I think, 15 or 16. I may be wrong, though. And he was just coming home from school, and this guy was bullying him for being from the Desert Division. And he called him names and was being just horrible to Zircon. And Zircon tried to fight back, but because of his little experience with standing up to people like this, he did not win. He got shoved to the ground and was bleeding, and he ran home crying. So after being bullied and, I guess you could say discriminated against, Zircon ran home crying to his adoptive mother, Beryl, the lady from before. She quickly tended to his wounds and took very good care of him. And Zircon was saying, like, I never should have came here. I'm a mistake. I shouldn't have come. And Beryl looked at him, and again, I don't have a reference in front of me. I'm saying this based off solely what I believe happened, or what did happen. I guess I'm the author, so whatever I say goes. And Beryl looked at him and was just like, no, you are meant to be here. You are a part of this division, no matter what other people say. And from that day on, Zircon strived to raise in the rankings and to stand against the bullies and people who didn't believe he should be in the cave division to begin with. Now, a couple years later, after all of these events happened to Zircon, he finally rose to a high rank, which is where he was in the book, as second in command of the cave division. Now, in his ceremony, Captain Sapphire, I believe is her name, was there with him, and he was in love with her, which is a very important piece. I'm sorry, I'm like blanking. He was looking in the crowd for Beryl, the woman who raised him, and no matter how hard he looked, she wasn't there, and he recalled her death. Beryl raised Zircon in the shop she worked at, she was a blacksmith, so she lived in a forgery. And there was a drastic explosion. And despite all of this, Zircon still rose to the ranks of second. The rank of second. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm saying. And then, now that his backstory is out of the way, his tragic backstory, I want to talk about his, spoiler alert beyond this point, so if you want to go in and read this before I talk about it, you may do that now. The next point I'm going to be talking about is Zircon's tragic death. So, Zircon was sent out to capture the prisoners, which were the main characters in the book. And he tried and tried and tried, and he finally found them. This is a brief explanation of what happened up to his death. He found them, and he used to take care of one of the characters, Jewel, because she was an orphan. And he would take care of her, and he raised her, so she was like a daughter to him. And Zircon realized that, well, he couldn't turn in his daughter, could he? But he knew that coming back to the cave division without completing his assignments would be a death penalty. And he thought about it for some time before deciding that he was just going to accept his fate. So he comes back to the cave division and accepts his fate, and he gets hanged. But he accepted it. He accepted his fate. Which is kind of an interesting... I was kind of conflicted on writing his death because I loved him as a background character. I loved his and Jasper's banter and their relationship. But it needed to be done. So he got hanged. And I was so mad when I wrote that. But that was the only way the story worked out. The last thing I will be talking about, I've run out of things to color. The last thing I will be talking about is why he's important to the story. So the main reason is that Jewel needed some kind of parental figure in her life. She couldn't just be raised an orphan and know all these manners and stuff. Like, who would have taught her? And I know you might be thinking, well, the cave division are so closely intertwined. You may have realized that they are very judgmental as well. I'm doing a messy little background, so that I have something to color as I talk. But, oh my gosh, what am I saying? I'm so bad at these videos, oh my gosh. He served as that parental figure for Jewel. Another reason is it adds a more emotional component to my story. He was a very big event and very important. Again, I was mad to have him go. I'll give you a quick closer look to this. Oh my gosh, my coloring materials are not the best. But here he is, my tough, buff second command of the cave division. Well, that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching and staying this long to hear me yap. But I hope you enjoy the rest of your day or night, depending where you are. And thank you for watching.